As you may have guessed, today we are going to be making gummy bears, but not just any gummy bears. We are going to be making prickly pear gummy bears using the eastern prickly pear. Now, I have done a video explaining how to identify this video in the past, and if you're interested in watching that video, I'm going to link it in the description below. But for the sake of this video, what you need to know is that it is a succulent, and it produces these lovely little reddish purplish fruits that are edible, and it is native to the central and eastern regions of North America. But for now, let's go ahead and get started. Okay, so this is like everything you're going to need to make your gummy bears. And don't worry, I am going to be linking everything in the description below so that you can just go and grab everything online if you'd like to try this for yourself. But the first thing you're going to need is gelatin. This is probably the most important thing when making your gummy bears, because if you don't have this, it's not gonna stick together. But to bloom your gelatin, you're going to need a teaspoon of water. So that's what I have here, but we'll get to that later. Then you're also going to need 2 teaspoons of honey. That's the sweetener I'm using for our gummy bears. And then you're going to need a teaspoon of lemon juice. This is going to make our fruit, or our gummy bears, hold the color of our fruit juice. And then you're going to need 1/3 cup of water, okay? And I also have a blender here. You should use a blender for this. And then we also, of course, have our fruits. So these are the prickly pear fruits, and they have a lot of spines on them, so that is why I have this lighter here. So we're going to burn the spines off of the fruits, because that is probably the best way to get them off. And then we're going to peel the fruits. So we're going to go over that and peel them all. Okay, so I've got one of my prickly pear fruits here, okay? And I have it in my tongs because I don't want to touch it because it's covered in like a ton of spines. But then I also have my lighter here, and I'm just going to gently go around it with the flame to burn off all the spines. Oh my gosh. Yeah. As you can see, it's kind of just burning off all of them. You can see the little flares up of orange. That's it burning the spines. All right, so now we have one of our prickly pear fruits, and I can actually touch it without getting poked by all the spines. So that's pretty good, but it is all black on the outside now because, well, I've lit it on fire, basically. So what you want to do is you want to get like a knife or something and just make a really small cut, not too deep. I made it a little deep on this one, so don't do as I do. Do as I say, but not as I do. And then just kind of peel your prickly pear fruit. Ooh, it's kind of like peeling a grape. All right. So now that we're at this point, where we're just basically at the top and the bottom of the fruit that has skin, we're just going to cut at the bottom, get that off, and then we're going to cut the top off. Ooh. And then you can see the seeds are kind of spilling out right now. There's a ton of them in there. You can plant them if you'd like. They look a bunch, they look all funny. They look like frog eggs. But, ooh, gotta get them separated from that fruit. Oh my gosh. Please, spare me. Okay. So this is what you're looking for. This little bit of fruit right here is what you're after. So we're going to put that in a bowl on the side. And here's another little piece of fruit. So it is a tedious process, but yeah, you do get some little chunks of fruit. So yeah, now I'm just going to do this to all of those little fruits that I have. So you're never going to believe me, or maybe you will, but this is all that I got from those fruits, from that whole bag. And it's a little less than 1/3 cup, and I was really hoping for 1/3 cup, and it's okay because it is pretty close. So we're just going to throw this all inside of our trusty blender here. So let me get... All right, they're all in there. So now we're gonna throw in our 1/3 cup of water that we got earlier. And then we're also gonna put in our 1 teaspoon of lemon juice. And now we're just gonna blend it all up. Ooh. Oh my goodness. There is our prickly pear juice down in there. It looks pretty good. Okay, before we do much else, we have to bloom our gelatin. So you're gonna wanna take your gelatin pack and then your little teaspoon of water that you have, and you're just gonna mix them together. I'm mixing it together inside that tiny container my water was in, but you can do it in a small bowl or whatever. And you just want to mix it so that your gelatin kind of becomes like a dough. It does not smell the best, but that's okay. It'll get much better when it becomes a gummy bear. Like, this is what mine looks like right now. It does not look the best, and it definitely does not smell the best. So we're just going to set this aside while we're working on the rest of our gummy bear stuff. For right now, you're just going to grab a small pot or saucepan, and you're going to turn your heat up to high. Okay? And you're going to put all of your fruit juice that you made into this pot. Oh my gosh. Ah! Ugh. What the heck? Ew, I do not like that consistency. All right, now you're also gonna add in your honey. All right, now that our honey is all added, we're just gonna mix this all together, and we're gonna kind of wait for it to simmer. We don't want it to really boil, we just kind of want it to get heated up and simmer. Okay, so we're just about there. You can see the steam popping up. Oh, okay, so we're gonna take it off the heat. We don't want it boiling. And we're gonna turn our heat off. Okay, so now it is off the heat and it's not bubbling, so that's good. And now we can add in our gelatin. So we're just gonna plop that in there and we're just gonna mix it around and we're gonna wait for it to dissolve. See, slowly but surely that gelatin is breaking down. All right, here is our gummy bear base. It is all finished. Our gelatin is all dissolved. And usually I would put this through a strainer, but for some reason I don't think that it's gonna go through the strainer. It's a little bit too gelatinous, kind of like flubber, and that's due to the prickly pear. It kind of reminds me of mucus. I don't know, but we're gonna go ahead and try to put it inside the gummy bear molds. So let me get that. Here are my gummy bear molds, and I have them on this little cookie sheet so that it's easy for me to pick them up and move them around when I'm moving them to the fridge. And I also have this lovely little syringe. So now you're gonna watch as I attempt to fill it up. I don't know how this is gonna go. Okay, I've got a full needle, kind of. And we're just gonna fill up the gummy bears. Oh. Okay, well, it's kind of working. There's like this little stream that's following us along, and I don't want that to happen. Please, stop it. I think I'm figuring it out. Ooh, that gummy bear has gas. All right, so our gummy bear mold is all filled up. And you can make about 40 gummy bears with the recipe that we made. So I'm gonna go ahead and put these guys in the fridge, and they're just gonna sit there overnight. All right, I just took them out of the fridge and I left them in for almost a whole 24 hours. I think they're in for 22 hours, but let's go ahead and try to pop some of them out of the mold. All right, I just took them out of the fridge and I left them in for almost a whole 24 hours. I think they're in for 22 hours, but let's go ahead and try to pop some of them out of the mold. Okay, this is the moment of truth. Ooh, oh my gosh. Ooh. Oh, it's a little stuck. Okay, we got it. It is our first gummy bear. Okay, I'll give you a better look. Look at how cute it is. It's a fully formed little prickly pear gummy bear. It does have a lot of like air bubbles in it, which is kind of weird, but that's all right. Bloop, 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 bloop. Okay, I'm just gonna pop the rest out of the mold real quick. Here they all are, and I think they're such a cute little orangish pink color. But now let's go ahead and try our gummy bears. Now it's the moment of truth to see if these are actually worth making or not. Okay. You know, I actually didn't expect them to taste like what they taste like. They kind of remind me of like cooked apple, which I'm not mad at. I just wasn't expecting it. They taste pretty good. And they kind of go with the color, like just what they look like. But yeah, just wasn't expecting what they tasted like, but no, definitely still tastes really good. Now that I'm thinking about it a bit more, I think that these gummy bears could benefit from a little bit of citric acid being added to them just to make them a little bit more sour. You know, that would just give it a little bit something extra because it's kind of a faint apple flavor. But I mean, it's still good. I still enjoy these little gummy bears. But yeah, I think a little citric acid would go a long way with these. But as always, I hope that you enjoyed watching and learning how to make prickly pear gummy bears with me. If you did, be sure to like and subscribe, and I hope to see you all in my next video.